are back at you, MMA Gems. Coming off a nice card last week where the Diamond went out on a shield, got outboxed by Holloway, took the L but went out at least not getting KO'd. Shot Gilly, of course, because he has to. It was prediction wise, the card was shaky for the main event for us. Obviously two minus 500 favorites consecutively losing. Kevin Holland. Good thing Unc bought beer for a homeless guy instead of betting on him. That was our suggestion. Then you have Zellhuber fraud checked. I know HotHand's hurting internally from that one, but he's ready to get back. And 6 first round finishes, I believe, back to back to start off the card last week. It was nice. We had nice calls for Dulatov knockout. A lot of stuff just went our way to start it off, and then evened out in the main card, prediction wise. Betting wise, we had some nice snipes over in Gems. Fight to go the distance. A Vittori plus 7.5 and a parlay piece. We had a couple nice calls, but bang bang card. It was one of those competitive ones, and we warned before. And we want to make this notice again because someone was confused last time. When we make a lean or prediction here,
I was just about to say this is a disclaimer from the Fade Factory. Go ahead,
we're
Michael.
making our leans and predictions here, that does not mean we're going out and we're slamming every single money line prediction. That's why we're giving you guys takedown props, round props, spreads. Like, we're giving you the best possible pick. When we say, all right, I lean Kevin Holland minus 500, but take caution. That does not mean go bet Kevin Holland money line straight. It did not mean that. So I want to make that clear because we had some confusion. People were saying that, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we made it clear last card. Most of you probably understand, but I have to make that clear. But without further ado,
yeah, I just want to say something. We took a little bit of criticism on the picks. I say this every recording. You have to do your own research as well. It's a full package if you're buying in with us. Just because we say something does not mean to take it right away. And the weigh-ins, if you do follow the sport and bet it, are an important part of making a prediction. So this is a preliminary prediction. Thank you, Unc.
yeah. So just want to make that clear before, but most of you guys understand the sport. So me, Hot Hand, Unk, and Mo here. I'm ready to kick off this card here, and Abu Dhabi, I believe. We're starting off the card, the debut of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu legend and 13-time IBJJF world champion in his weight class and also free weight. Marcus Almeida, you might see his name as shit. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I've been seeing it multiple different ways, but it's Marcus Almeida for the most part is what he's known as, and he's taking on Martin Buday here to start off the card. Better than your typical girl bottom of the barrel fight to start off one of these cards, but we start off with Buday, two-time former IBJJF European champion. Nothing like Marcus Almeida with his BJJ accolades, but um, that's his like base. He's a grappler. He's a nice striker. He's a well-rounded heavyweight, despite being pretty bad, I'd say, level-wise. Um, he's coming off a W against short notice opponent Uran Sadibaldiev, who was coming up on just a couple days, 3 days notice, I believe, from LFA. He was undefeated, but he's a light heavyweight. He was coming up to try to fight Martin Buday, who just used his clinch control and put him against the cage for the W. Um, Almeida here, he's coming from one, uh, not an extensive MMA career, but obviously the BJJ is there. Almeida, only one loss in his career, and I believe it was about Umar Khan, who also in one he beat the I guess legendary one fighter. Well, I forget his name. Who was the one who fought RDR and beat him? I don't know. He was the student of Fedor. Um, but Almeida didn't get to fight him, but Umar Khan fought him. Good competition and won, but overall, when I look into this fight, you're looking at, is Buday gonna get subbed? Because that's the way he's probably gonna go out here if he's getting finished. Almeida, obviously, with the strong jiu-jitsu, but from what I've seen when I watch some film, it's not insanely translating to the MMA world. His competition was lackluster over in one. Besides maybe Khan, he might be an up and comer, but well, up and comer win wise, I don't know. He's getting up there, but I don't know how it's going to translate over here to the UFC. I don't think Marcus Almeida has ever fought in a cage. Also, he's been fighting in the ropes and won. And when you see on takedowns and stuff like that, um, a lot of those takedowns would be affected by the cage being stood up and someone using that for leverage. And Martin Buday is actually a master of using the cage for leverage. That's one of his biggest things there. He knows how to milk time, put people against his cage, puts his hands behind your necks, pulls the weight down on you. Um, Almeida. I don't know if he's going to be able to get Buday down consistently enough to be able to get an early sub. I'm liking the round two to start at minus 200 as a parlay piece, possibly. I don't know. He might go for some crazy shit, but I haven't seen it in his MMA bouts. Him be able to just smooth Imanari roll or get something. And Martin Buday obviously doesn't have the pedigree of Almeida. Not many do, but he two-time IBJJF European champion in his own rights, no gi. So I think he can last around the over 1.5 at minus 125, minus 130 range. Also interests me. I actually personally think this one I like Almeida by decision only because I think the media or the UFC at least is going to try to push this if it goes to a very close decision. Obviously, his pedigree for the BJJ is going to sell tickets, but I think Boudet, with only two losses in his career, one being to Shamil Gaziev and one being early in his career second fight to some guy on the Spanish regional scene, I think that he can make this a fairly competitive bout. And if he doesn't get caught up in something, and after round one they're going to be sweaty, and I think this one can go the distance. That's another a look at it, but I like the over 1.5. Martin Boudet plus 7.5 is plus 120. I also like that. That's pretty much all I have to say on it. How do you feel about this one, Unc? Unc, you there?
Sorry, bud, I didn't hear you pass it over.
You're good.
So, yeah, I mean, basically, we're dealing with two heavyweights. Almeida is real green. I mean, I know him from the grappling world as Marcus Almeida. Like, MMA world has him listed as Marcus Buchecha. So I don't know if the odds makers really know who it is. That's why he's so inflated. But I think the odds are kind of crazy considering Martin Buday is, he can go out there and really put it on somebody. Um, I definitely think though that and also what you said about his Almeida's jiu-jitsu transitioning over to MMA, it's not clean. It's like Kron Gracie's. It doesn't look the best, but they are at heavyweight, and I mean, not a lot of heavyweights can grapple. Martin Buday can. Um, yeah, I'm really mixed with this fight and what exactly is my decision. I think I'm gonna go with round two to start, which is minus 200 on DraftKings. I think they make it out of the first round. I think Martin Buday can settle Almeida down. Um, and I really, I think either Almeida wins by sub or Buday wins by decision. But I really don't. I can't pick a winner. I'm not sure because like you got heavyweights that are rolling at your legs and stuff. I mean, that's hard to defend, but Martin Buday has great body control, like you said, against the cage. So I'm split 50-50, and I think the odds are a little bit blown up. That's my opinion. But round two to start.
All right, how do you feel about it, Mo?
I think, like Uncle said, the odds are inflated, but it's for a reason. He's very skilled in the grappling department, and I'm thinking him by submission and under 2.5 rounds plus 110 is the play here. But I also like the play that you said, Mike, plus 7.5, minus 120 for a hedge.
And how do you feel,
So you
HotHand?
could put that in a nice parlay.
Yeah, I did some digging in Almeida's research, and all of his wins.
No way that Marcus Andrew Barriault takedown shot down like that.
Yeah, I just sent you it. Sorry to cut you off, HotHand, but
But
right before this.
Almeida, all of his finishes are in round one, and the only time he's gone past round one, he lost. And he's fighting Martin Buday, who's been in a good bit of UFC scraps. This Brazilian cat's, it's his UFC debut. And like they said, he's very legit in the grappling department. But I don't see him taking Buday down early and just muscling him around into a sub or catching Buday in something. I do like round two to start in this, and I'm also going to sprinkle Buday because I don't see the hype. I mean, don't get me wrong, like he's very skilled, but for a UFC debut against someone like Martin Buday, who isn't just an absolute bottom of the barrel heavyweight who has somewhat decent fighting IQ and skills. I think Buday at plus 245 as a sprinkle is pretty decent. I also like the live method betting. So if you see this Almeida cat take a back or even lock in an arm bar, I know DraftKings is very late to update the live method of victory betting. So look for a sub if Almeida has his back or has him in a sticky situation.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. So obviously, what we're saying for this bout is be cautious on Almeida or Bukeka, whatever they're calling him. But know that Martin Buday is he's in the obviously his overall resume isn't that great, but he can make this a very close fight, and he has some grappling. He's not like a fish out of water like most heavyweights, so be cautious. Move to the next bout. We got Stephen Nguyen versus Muhammad Yahya. So this fight's a bit of a lower level one in my opinion. Yahya kind of showing that he probably isn't UFC caliber at this point. Um, I think his striking's a little lackluster. His hands are down a lot, and I don't know, a lot of his in his career he does have some decent grappling, but when you're losing to guys like Trevor Peak, I'll excuse the loss to Kyle Fernandez because I still want to see more of him. He's one of those shooter box guys, so I'm not too mad about that. But losses in Bellator, losses in UAE Warriors, getting choked out. Like not not performing up to UFC caliber level. And I think that Stephen Nguyen is he's underperforming for a Fortis MMA guy. Uh, he does have good striking, but I did notice he's a little flat footed. He does have a decent movement for a flat footed guy. He bounces nice back and forth, but that takes energy. And I don't know how he's gonna fare if Yahya decides to shoot some takedowns in this one. I don't know how strong the takedown threat really is, but I don't really see a path for Yahya on the feet. Um, Overall, my lean on this, in my opinion, is going to be win um by knockout. I believe. I think that he finds the shot. They're going to be in the pocket swinging. I don't think it's going to be a first round knockout. I will say that it's going to. I think that Yahya is tough enough to last. The over 1.5 line's a bit juiced at minus 220. Um, I probably wouldn't mess around with that. You might be able to get a closer line live on Stephen to win if the fight starts playing out a little close in the first round, or if Yahya and play some clinches. But I'm not paying minus 380, minus 400 around for Stephen to win. I don't think he deserves that line yet. I don't think he's shown me anything on tape that shows me he's minus 400. But I do not think that Yahya is UFC caliber, so I'm still gonna side with him here. How do you feel about that one, Mo?
Um, Honestly, I don't give too much credit to UAE Warrior fighters. Not even gonna lie. And Stephen Nguyen at Fortis MMA trains with a bunch of beasts. And I really think that he's gonna get a finish here. Like you said, he's underperformed before, so he's coming into this fight knowing that he has to get a finish. So his finish prop for KO/submission is -125, and I'm slamming that.
Yeah, I'm liking that. How do you feel about that one, Unc?
Well, I think Mo's right. I mean, from what I saw, Yahya looks great, but it's not UFC great. And Stephen Nguyen, he's got some power. I mean, he can really connect. He's a tough guy. He knows how to roll with punches well. And like you said, Yahya isn't world class striker. So I'm searching for a finish prop. I mean, I may just take what Mo said. Um, Stephen Wynn, by finish is like -125 or something like that on DraftKings. Um, that's Stephen Wynn by finish is -125.
Yeah.
Um, that's probably. I mean, I don't think if Yahya would have to hold him down and literally, like do that, like that Russian grinding style to win this fight, and I just don't see Stephen Wynn getting controlled like that. So I'm taking him, but his money line is crazy. So, and like Mo said, I think that's gonna give him the determination to try to get a finish. Yahya, I if he does win, it's a decision. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the underline before HotHand gives it a spill. Under is like -135 at 2.5 rounds, so you're getting around the same amount. I don't know if you want to play that, but it's an idea. HotHand, what are your reads on this?
Yeah, I don't see how Yahya could win this fight without taking it to the ground. I mean, if you look at the fight stats on the feet, Steven, however you pronounce his last name, is landing 7 significant strikes per minute compared to Yahya's 2. So I feel even on the feet, Steven is going to put a beat down on him. I mean, they're not the most skilled fighters, but I think we're going to clearly see a striking difference. And I feel Yahya's going to be pressured into shooting, and then Steven still has a BJJ background, and he still has subs on his record. So I feel that he could catch Yahya shooting in on a guillotine or a darce or a ninja choke or whatever the circumstances may be. But I do like Steven by finish. I think this is going to be Yahya's UFC cut fight. He's 0-2 in the UFC. I feel this is like his deal breaker. If he wins, all right, maybe give him one more, but I don't see him getting past this cat in front of him now, and I think we're going to see Steven win by finish personally.
Yeah, I'm leaning probably the Nguyen, Stephen Nguyen knockout or points. I don't think he's gonna sub Yahya personally. Uh, maybe like with how Hot Hand said, shooting in and getting caught in a darts or a front choke. But I think Yahya might have the slight grappling advantage, and I think knockout or points just in case Yahya stalls for a round late or doing gases, because he has shown that he can throw volume, but in the later rounds he starts to slow down a little bit. So I'll keep an eye on that. Overall, we think Nguyen's the play here. We don't think Yaya's up to par in the UFC. So I don't know about laying chalk -400, but if you start playing around with money with round like the Nguyen plus a half round or like the double chances, like we said, you could probably find something or an under. We'll move on to the next fight. And we have Ibo Aslan versus Billy Elekana. Elekana, a former LFA fighter. Uh, Last bout, they pulled him off the couch. I think he said that he was working at a warehouse, didn't see a gym in like 3 weeks. Had like a week's notice against Bogdan Guskov, who we'll touch on later on. But came out, absolutely dominated the first round against Bogdan Guskov in the grappling realm, had his back, very flexible with the body triangles, elbows from the side. Um, and his striking was there, set up the takedowns, but um, I did see him gas. Obviously, he pretty much asked to get finished in the second round. He was there, not trying to get up. He was dead, but give him some benefit of the couch being up, or benefit of the doubt being off the couch. in that bout. Here he has a decent amount of time between, and Ibo Aslam's coming off that loss that we called out against Ion Kutalaba. Aslan's game is power, power, power. He's knocking dudes out. He has some crisp striking, but he's still a little green in the grappling department. So the way that I view this here, I think that Aslan could land some heavy strikes. I think this one might go longer than most people believe. I'm going to take a look at the round props real quick for this bout, and you're looking at the over 1.5 at pick'em odds. I like the over 1.5 and possibly even round 2 to start. Billy Elekana has never been finished in his career. Round 2 to starts at around minus 180, minus 170. So that's still a realistic range there. I think that can last at least that. Aslan's way is by finish, and Elekana's shown durability. Elekana's going to be able to grapple in this match. I'm going to lean. It's tough because I don't. And it gets into the later rounds. I'm curious on Elekana's current tank and shape. I want to see how he's looking on the scales after actually having some time. But I'm going to lean Aslan here. I think he's going to be able to get it done in the later rounds too with his striking. And I'll lean with him side, maybe a decision, maybe a late finish, but I don't see him finishing Elekana early since he's shown durability here, but it wouldn't shock me. How do you feel?
I think that like when I taped Stephen Nguyen and went back and looked, I was like, oh, I remember this guy from the PFL. I'm not impressed with your performance. I was not impressed with his performance. I mean, Billy Elekana, yeah. I was not impressed with Billy Elkana's performance. And he fought like nobody's got some decisions. I mean, fought a real fighter and Guskov cleaned him out. I've seen, you know, Ebon fight before as well. And, he was touted as a real high prospect. They gave him Kutalaba, and, we called out Kutalaba would use a different game plan to get the sub. But the way I see this going is, I think Ebo, whatever, however you want to say it, Aslan, I think he wins by knockout. I think he takes Billy Elkana's head off. I mean, I just wasn't impressed. Like, I didn't see anything that Billy Elkana do, but I was like, oh wow, like that is something that is special, and like that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So I think Ebo is gonna get him out of there in the first or the second round. So I'm looking at KO props as my what I'm gonna put my money on the bets.
Yeah, Ibo Aslan by KO is minus 160. Uh, under 2.5, minus 260.
If you do Ebo KO and under 2.5, it evens out to like minus 120.
Ibo KO and what?
Under 2.5.
Okay. That's nice. I like
I
that.
think I think I think Ebo by KO or Billy by decision. It's the only way I see this fight playing out.
I can like slightly see Billy Alcana getting a sub if he gets the grappling going, but how do you feel about the? That's the only way you can see the fight going. That's your pick. How's that double chance look?
Yeah, that was my prediction.
You look at that double chance on.
Check.
I have it right here in my hand. That double chance Elikana by decision or Ibo Aslan by not yeah minus 350.
Sheesh.
And then
Boom!
so yeah, uh,
That's a
but
good parlay piece, though.
yeah, it is. How do you feel about it, hot hand?
I mean, personally, whatever this Billy Cat's last name is, he came out on his debut. I had Guskov KO, came out, controlled him, took his back all of round one, and then gassed, and then got subbed by Guskov after a beatdown on the feet. But like you said, that he wasn't in the gym actively training. He was on short notice. So if he has the potential to take down Guskov, I can't see how he doesn't take down Aslan, as Guskov, I feel, is a way better fighter than Aslan. I also feel that a takedown prop is going to be very live. I'm not saying that this Billy dude wins the fight, but I'm saying I could definitely see a takedown if he was able to take down Guskov on short notice. Now I do like Aslan by KO as well. He's 14-2. All of his wins are by knockout, but his two losses are by sub. So I feel if this Billy dude could take him down, I feel a submission is very possible, as Aslan's losses are all from submission. So I feel this bout is going to be good for a Billy takedown prop, depending on the line. But if he's at plus 225, I don't think the score or the odds makers are going to be thinking that a takedown is going to be possible for him. So I think we could get over zero point 0.5 takedowns at a good price. I could also see if he takes the back or does something like that. Once again, take a submission method of victory live bet. But overall, I do think Aslan will win the fight round 2 or round 3 knockout. But I do think that a takedown prop or the submission live bet is very live.
Yeah, it's split for me when I was thinking about this fight. Elekana, it's just a striker versus grappler, and like you said, if he could take down Guskov on off the couch, how can he do it the camp against someone who's seen his struggle? I don't know. He's not as strong as a grappler as Ian Kitawaba is, but I guess that's left to be seen. We'll move on to the next bout. Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha Ricci. We'll let Unk start off because he loves his women's MMA.
I'm the only one that studies it and wants to bet
No,
it.
I
But
watched.
we,
I
but
watched the fights.
we do
I
get
got
smoked.
Ricci.
These girls be minus 500. We be getting smoked. All right. So you got two. They actually come from judo backgrounds, and Amanda Ribas is a spitfire. You're gonna hear a lot of ha 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 when she's throwing her punches. Tabitha Ricci is good at jiu-jitsu, but Amanda Ribas has good scrambles. Honestly, I have no idea who's gonna win the fight. Like, I've seen them both, and I followed Amanda Ribas' career. I've seen them both do some pretty wild stuff. I mean, Jessica Penny. It was a while ago, but Jessica Penny is really good at jiu-jitsu, and Tabitha Ricci subbed her. Now that was a couple years ago, but like that was something that stuck out to me. Was if there was a finish, how would it happen? I'm personally betting both girls, but split decision because the odds are so high, and I don't think it'll be a unanimous. But if you're asking me, like, if there was a finish, how would it go? Amanda Ribas would either get the KO or Tabitha Ricci would get the sub. So that prediction would be uh, that would be plus 700 on DraftKings as well. Amanda Ribas by KO or Tabitha Ricci to win by submission. So, but you can play that at plus 700. But I personally think that it's going to be a split decision, not a unanimous decision. And for Ribas, I think she's plus 450, and Ricci is plus 700. So that's what it is.
Yeah, and the overall line for just the fight to end by split, because we caught one of those. We caught the Nikolai Vertenikov versus Francisco Prado split decision at plus 400 last week. But the line for this fight is plus 250. So there's still some room there. Um, how do you feel about this one, Mo?
I think Tabitha Ricci's gonna. First of all, her striking has improved tremendously, but I think she's gonna use her roots and take Amanda Ribas down multiple times.
So you're eyeing like a takedown prop if whenever they pop up.
Nah, I'm just eyeing Ricci money line.
All right. I'm looking at like the spread line for Ricci at the plus 3.5. You can't go wrong. Ribas. She's been around mixed martial arts. Obviously, her dad, high ranking out there in the BJJ world, so she's been around for her whole life. I'm just looking at the spread lines. You get plus 3.5 at minus 195, plus 5.5 at minus 245 for Ricci. I think that the fight would be contested, like Unk said. I don't think either fighter has an insane amount of advantage over the other to a point where it's going to be a 30-27 or a finish. So I'm probably going to play that split decision line. This fight to go at plus 250. I think there's good value on that, and I think either girl on the spread, if you want to play either one of them as a parlay piece with the plus 3.5 spread, I think it'll be relatively safe. HotHand, what's your parting thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think these fighters are practically identical. I mean, if you look at all the stats and whatnot, almost everything is the exact same. I do lean Ricci slightly, but like you said about playing the spread on either or, personally, I would rather play it on Ricci as she is the underdog, so the spread odds would be more playable in her favor. But I'm not taking a money line. This is probably a piss break fight for me. But if I do bet anything, I would bet Ricci's spread. But I do also like the fight to go to distance. I think that their skills are going to cancel out and we're going to see it go the full 15. But as that's looking, it's at minus 400, and I'm not betting that. So I think it's Ricci's spread or honestly nothing.
Yeah, not a not a fight that I love to handicap overall, but I'll lean I think Ribas overall, but that's just pick wise. Do not bet that. Find something else. Maybe a takedown prop or something. Spread wise, as we said. But we'll move on from that and we'll go over to Damon Blackshear versus Davy Grant. Um, so I'm starting to view Damon Blackshear, even though he's gotten some wins in his last couple. Starting to view him as a Kevin Holland-esque kind of fighter. I don't know if he's taking shit serious. His corner is literally fucking screaming at him. His last fight to go for a takedown and get the fight to the ground, and he's standing there like he's a kickboxer or something. So I don't even know what to think going into this one. Is he gonna come and do the same shit? Because if he comes here how he did against Al Tang Haley and comes and tries to strike with Davy Grant, he's gonna get outstruck in my opinion. I like him as a striker. He's all right. He's pretty fluid, but Davy Grant's throwing some unorthodox shit out there. Um, Davy Grant has a really good chin, never being knocked out in his professional career of over 20 fights. Where he is vulnerable though is submissions, and that's where Damon Blackshear shines. I don't really think Damon Blackshear is a really strong offensive grappler when it comes to getting takedowns. But I think he could get takedowns, but I don't think that he's like overwhelmingly strong enough and a lot of times to get takedowns. But when he gets to the ground, he does have good submissions. He usually starts off flat though in the first round. I can easily see Davy Grant coming out here and throwing a bunch of random shit, getting some energy, some big loud moments from the crowd because he is a fan favorite. And Damon Blackshear's line getting a bit more realistic, like it has in past fights. I don't like pay. I don't want to pay minus 300, minus 400 on an unreliable fighter like Damon Blackshear. He's winning. Don't get me wrong, but his fight IQ is in question, in my opinion. Uh, I do think he gets it done here against Davy Grant, though. But I think it's closer than this plus 250 line on this. I think it's more of like a minus 150, plus 125 kind of bout. Uh, Davy Grant, though, the 9-year age difference is what scares me here. Is he aging that much? 3 inch reach difference, 2 inch height difference. That's not that big. That's not that big to me, I guess. In this one, but I don't know. I think this fight's gonna go to the distance. I don't think the Davy Grant's gonna get subbed. A lot of those subs were earlier in his career, and I think he has made a decent leap in defending subs. The over 2.5 rounds is at minus 130, over 1.5 at minus 260, and round 3 to start at minus 170. I'm liking that round 3 to start prop. I don't know if Damon Blackshear is going to be overwhelming enough to get him down. I don't know what the game plan is going to be. I am going to lean Blackshear, but it's probably going to be by decision or super late. But I don't see him knocking him out, so it's going to have to be submission or decision. But for me, and if you're looking at that prop on the double chance, it's going to be minus 250, which is, I guess, a parlay piece, but I don't know. How do you feel about this one, hot hand?
Yeah, I think Davy Grant is worlds better than Damon Blackshear on the feet. And like you said it best, his last fight, he had the clear edge in the grappling and he was yet not shooting takedowns. So where is his IQ level? Is he going to try and go out there and prove a point once again that he could strike and try and stand with a striker? Because if so, Davy Grant is going to put it on him. Now, Davy Grant, if you look at his resume, he has 7 losses, and 4 of them come from submissions. So I think once the fight hits the mat, that it's going to be in Blackshear's realm, and he's really going to control him on the ground and do whatever he wants with him. But I think while the fight is on the feet, Davy Grant is going to win. But I feel if Davy Grant starts out striking him, that he's gonna shoot and he will secure a takedown. Now I don't think Davy Grant is gonna have that KO power where he hits him with a 1-2 or he hits him with that head kick or so and drops him instantly and he's out. I think he would have to kind of build up for the KO. But before he really puts the beat down on him to build up for the KO, I bet we would see Blackshear shoot and secure the takedown. But I just hate how steep this line is, especially after Grant is coming off a good win after he just beat Ramon Tavares. So take caution if you're betting on Blackshear because we don't know where his mind is at. But you could sprinkle on Blackshear's takedown props, whatever the line may be. If it's like a over 2.5, I wouldn't take it or whatever it may be, considering if I think this fight goes to the ground, he's going to have a world advantage on the grappling department than Grant. But I do like a over 1.5 on this fight. But I also could see Blackshear subbing him, so I would definitely be cautious with this fight. I think this card is full. The prelims and the early prelims is kind of shaky, but I think the most heat definitely is going to be in the final few fights.
Yeah. How do you feel about this one, Mo?
I think Damon Blackshear is an absolute lock. He could win this fight any way he wants, but I don't think he's gonna win by a knockout because Davy Grant's hands are nice. I bet on him in that Ramon Tavares fight. He destroyed him. But I'm taking Damon Blackshear by decision or submission minus 250, and I'm mixing it in with Stephen Nguyen by knockout or submission, 2-leg.
All right, that's probably decent odds too, because the Nguyen plays
Or
like
you
a
could
nice
just
one.
or you could just take both of them by money lines to play it safe.
Yeah, you probably get around even money there. Nguyen's starting to push it a little bit on his money line, so might have to add like a half round prop in there. But that's a nice little 2-legger. Hothead or Unk, what's your closing words on this?
Closing words are to take Damon Blackshear by sub, which is plus 200, or take Davy Grant double chance KO or decision, which is plus 300. After that last fight, I like we're betting, but the corner I was screaming at him, take the Blackshear, take him down, take him down. He just wanted to stand in front of him and strike and play around. And if he does that against Davy Grant, I mean, I could see him getting caught once or twice. The crowd energy starts rising. Davy Grant's been around and he's fought like stylistically people like Rafael. I think Davy Grant choked out Rafael Sanso, if I have that in my notes right. And that's impressive, like by itself. So he's good at jiu-jitsu. But
Oh yeah, that was an impressive
Blackshear
shot.
Blackshear, if he really, really does try, he could cook him on the ground. But after that last fight, what Blackshear did on the feet, I was heated. I was not impressed. I mean, it was BS. His fight IQ, and I don't know what relationship he has with the coaches, but yeah, if Blackshear wins, he wins by sub, and if Davy Grant wins, he wins by KO or decision. So that's what it is. But if Blackshear comes out and then starts playing the mat, this is one of those times where, like HotHand said, you want to live bet the sub if they're actually on the ground, for a considerable time. So
Yeah, I see what you mean. Just be skeptical on the IQ. I think if Damone Blackshear has some fight IQ in this one, and listen to some of the people saying how stupid he was for not getting to the ground this time, I think he might try to close the distance fairly early. We'll see. We'll move on from that one. Got Muslim Salikhov and Carlos Leal. Leal's back here over in the Middle East, looking to get robbed again, but I think he handles this one and leaves no doubt into the judges' hands. Muslim Salikhov originally started up his career. He was a formidable fighter as when it comes to durability, had a chin on him. But as of recently, you can see the age looky getting to 41, 10-year age difference in this one, and Carlos Leal is really starting to pick up steam in his last couple bouts. Renat Fakhretdinov on short notice. We all know here in this that he won that fight fairly clearly. I think that was the robbery in the desert or whatever they're calling that. But uh, then these other bouts you have Alex Morano with the finish. He's not the highest level fighter, but he's a staple guy in the UFC. Been around for a while. Has fought some decent competition. And then even back in PFL, his last loss before, in a close decision split, I thought that he won the fight against Sadabusi, who's a veteran over there. But I don't know. I think that Muslim Salikhov at 41 years old doesn't have the speed and the striking and the movement to be able to defend how much output Carlos Leal is about to put on him. Like Sadikhov is good. He rips some nice body kicks. That spinning kick's pretty vicious. But Carlos Leal is going to be coming in there, and he doesn't just throw one. He's going to be following it up with some heat. And I think a TKO stoppage is live. I'm just taking a look over here at how to play this odds wise. Leal is around minus 500 on the money line, of course. But when you're looking at the finish prop, look at the method of victory, you get in Carlos Leal minus 130 on FanDuel. I'm gonna look on DraftKings right now, see how you can play that around. Uh, you can't do same game parlays you got on here. But I'll probably play it around. You can probably get it a little bit better than that to around even money if you play like under 2.5 with that in a same game parlay. But I think he gets it done. I'm actually gonna see what the rounds 1 and 2 is. So Carlos Leal round 1 or 2 minus 105. I'd probably rather just take the knockout. But that's my lean on this one. I think he gets the finish over an aging Salikhov, who might be good for a good half round. But then after that, I think that he starts getting broken apart. How do you feel about this one, HotHand?
Yeah, I'm very high on Leal. I think he has very, very, very good striking. He's in your face. He could take shots. He got absolutely robbed against Renat, and then he beat the shit out of Alex Morano. And if you look at Muslim, he has very, very good kickboxing. He's very slick. Even at the age of 41, we just seen him spinning head kick what's his name, Song Keenan or something like that, and knocked him right out. But I think Leal, his pressure is going to be the difference. I don't see Muslim Salikhov having the gas tank to keep up for it, and I could see a volume KO. Leal is just in his face and makes him eventually crumble due to the striking. but I do think we see Leal win this fight 100%. I can't see him getting robbed twice in a row. I think he gets the finish, but just to be safe, I do like his KO/decision as a lay piece because even when he came out in his debut, he was ripped to the gills. He had the back acne. I thought he was fucking juicing 100%. Everything is pointing to the signs of that. The fights are in UAE, so I could see it. Who knows what USADA or whatever testing organization is doing over there. But I think Leal is definitely going to win this fight. I think the age, I think his pace, I think those two factors are going to be the difference for this fight. But I do like Leal a lot.
All right, how do you feel?
Playing around with the props and the odds still, but I think this is a clear win for Carlos Leal. Like, that was the biggest robbery I've ever seen, man. Like, and I think that him fighting out in the desert again, Leal's gonna bring it. And I've watched Leal like his since his PFL career, and like always, I was actually impressed. With him, thought he was one of the better guys. And Salikhov, if he doesn't, like get a finish, I'd say like first round, like HotHand said, he's 41 years old. I mean, there is mixed martial artists that carry their age well, but I just like Leal has it to keep going, and I don't think Salikhov can carry the pressure. Like Leal's real good against the cage too, using the clinch and making you wear his weight. And I I don't like Hothead said, I don't see Leal losing this fight. He would have to get knocked out, and like dude's got a stone head. I mean, it's not it's not likely. Um, so bet for right now is undecided, but Carlos Leal is going to win. Like DraftKings doesn't have a same game parlay option, or at least on my phone it doesn't for this fight. So maybe I can do it later and Carlos Leal over a half round. That should be, I don't know, something like playable ish. But DraftKings for whatever reason is not letting me take it. But I think Carlos Leal wins this fight. I don't know if he gets the finish. It could be a labored decision, but I think Leal wins the fight, and he has good jiu-jitsu too. So I don't know how he wins the fight, but I think Leal is I think he's a lock here.
How do you feel, Mo, to close it out? You alive, Mo? I think we lost Mo for a minute, so I'll keep it pushing. It's probably going to be the same answers we have. And then we have upcoming here, Saeed Fraudagomedov, Nurmagomedov, whatever you want to call him. And then Bryce Mitchell. As you can see, freedom. Is he bringing the freedom? Is he bringing the Bible? Is he bringing the Bible into the octagon? Put your vote below on that in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys feel. But today, in this one, we have two sketchy characters. Bryce Mitchell coming off the loss to Lord Silva, but Dean Silva is the real deal in my opinion. So I can't really hurt that. He's coming down a weight class here to fight Saeed Nurmagomedov, who's coming off the loss to Vinicius Oliveira, who wrestled him up that no one thought was gonna happen. But he was like a minus 150 to minus 175 range favorite. Lost that fight by decision. Was like 1 of 9 on takedowns. I don't know. This fight comes down to I want to see how Bryce Mitchell looks at 135, how the cut looks on his body, and what shape he's in, because he's gonna have a decent size advantage in this one. And I want to see how he's carrying the extra 10 pounds down. Um, I do think Saeed has the advantage on the feet, but I don't think he's very much pressure oriented like some of the other fighters that have hurt. Um, that have hurt Bryce Mitchell before, like Josh Emmett, who has way more power than Saeed, and then like guys like Gene Silva, who's striking on him. Um, that's another guy that's forward pressure. Saeed's a little calm with it. He might have it here. Um, it's really 50-50 for me in this bout because I see Bryce Mitchell being able to employ some top pressure like he's done in the past and try to crotch sniff his way to a W. He does have some wicked jiu-jitsu, but so does Saeed. And it scares me slightly that Bryce Mitchell's. I feel like he lacks IQ defensively in his jiu-jitsu, although he has unique creativity in the offense. I think that the defense has holes in it, and as you may know, Saeed Nurmagomedov has every front choke in the book at his disposal. Very wicked. That's probably the best part of his submission game overall. So Bryce Mitchell shooting lazy, head on the outside, might get caught in something, and he snatches it up quick. Um, I don't know how to take a side on this one. I think that the volume of Saeed might score, but and we're over here in the Abu Dhabi or wherever we're going, UAE. Um, I don't really know how to take it here. I think it's gonna be a really close bout. I think it's gonna go the distance, or at least an over prop. If you take a look, the over 2.5 at -160. I like that. I kind of also like the fight to go the distance prop at where we at here. Let me see. Fight to go the distance is on DraftKings. -135. A spread line on either side could be. I think it's gonna be a close one, but I think it's gonna go to the final horn that Bryce Mitchell's not gonna get knocked out on the feet. I don't think. And unless he gets caught up in some wicked choke, I don't think he's subbing Saeed, and I don't think he's getting subbed. So I think we're gonna have a pretty boring fight on our hands, if I have to say so myself. It's gonna be lackluster in my opinion. But how do you feel about this one?
So from what I've seen from Saeed, he doesn't have the same grappling that the other Dagestanis have, but he does have legit jiu-jitsu. The wrestling is just it's not there. This he's very creative with the striking on the feet, but Bryce Mitchell just has that relentless, pressure, and I think that Bryce Mitchell will get top pressure, and that's how he's gonna win the fight. Kind of just grinding Saeed out, kind of like Oliveira did. I think he's gonna kind of follow the same game plan, same game parlay. Bryce Mitchell and over 5.5 minutes because round 2 to start was like something crazy. But if you do that, it's -105, and that's probably my pick. I'm gonna take. Their jujitsu, Saeed is better if they're standing and they're clinched up, but Bryce is better on the ground and also has that wrestling top pressure, like I said, which I've never seen out of Saeed. I've seen more creative, like striking and stuff. So, you also could take uh, Bryce Mitchell by decision or Saeed by KO, and that would be -120. So those are my picks. Either Bryce Mitchell wins the decision, or Saeed comes up with some crazy combo and knocks him out when he's trying to shoot for takedowns.
HotHand, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think this fight is gonna depend on how well Mitchell's chin is gonna hold up because everyone said it. It's the truth. Saeed's gonna have way better striking. He's way more crafty. He's very unorthodox. He has a very weird method of striking, in my opinion. I think his grappling does need work. I mean, Vinicius Oliveira kind of displayed that, and he's not a grappler himself. So I do also question how Mitchell's weight cut is going to be, considering he's dropping down to 135. But that also is good for him because the power of the 145 pounders have been putting him out. As Josh Emmett literally made him have a seizure and then Gene Silva bulldog choked him. And we also did see Mitchell gas early round 2 in that fight, and then which ultimately led to the submission of Gene Silva. So I do want to see how Mitchell looks at in the scales, because like I said, he's coming to a new weight class. He's facing a striker. His chin is fucking cracked. It's this fight is definitely iffy for me, because I could see Saeed getting a knockout, but I could see Bryce Mitchell getting, as Unc said, getting that top pressure and ground and pounding him, because Bryce Mitchell does have wicked BJJ in wrestling, and I could see him, if he does have a good weight cut and he wasn't cutting all that weight at 145, I could see him coming down to 135, doing like the normal weight cut that 35 pounders are doing, and just muscling him around and using that wrestling and BJJ technique to keep the fight there, because Saeed does need to improve on that. So I do want to see how both fighters look on the scales before I bet this, but I do like a over, and it's iffy because I could see a sub or a KO, but I do think this fight is going to go the distance. I think it's, as Mike said, it's going to be a relatively boring fight. I think Saeed will outstrike him on the feet, but then we'll see a Bryce Mitchell takedown. Then he's hugging him, or he's in half guard for a minute 30, 2 minutes, and then he gets up and then he reshoots. So take it how you want, but I do like a Bryce Mitchell takedown props. I'm iffy on the money lines because I don't know where both of these fighters are going to be at. But I do think Bryce Mitchell at least lands 2 takedowns in this fight, or you could take the over.
Mo, what do you feel to close this one out?
I think bro's still at the casino.
Yeah, I think he's gone. So we'll keep it pushing. And this is that was the last card of the prelims. That's a nice prelim ending fight. But as always, this one's brought to you by the Fade Factor and MMA Gems. Uh, over $35,000 made in the last three to four cards for our members. Um, $10 a month for the gems, but that's aside from the Fade Factory cord. That's free. We don't just bet on MMA; we bet on every sport here. I have models in various sports. Developing one right now for the NFL, but those are all free to you. And then if you want to get over to our final plays, what we're actually locking in on Fridays and Saturdays after our cemented reads with the face offs and the weigh-ins. That's how you get those. The price of lunch, you can't really beat that. You're getting charged $25 a week other places. Um, and the numbers speak for themselves. We all have tickets, third party tracked. No BS in here. It's all there. The majority of us, almost all of us, I believe, in the whole Discord, every single capper is positive at the minimum. But I'm at a capper rate at like at least 5% return. So we're all consistent and it's all free. Then you have the gem section where we're smoking stuff, and you could see it here in the videos. That's all. I'm gonna leave it short for this one. Get right or get left in 2025. And we'll start the main card up with Nikita Krylov and Bogdan Grad. So Nikita Krylov had that 2 year layoff, came and fought Dominic Reyes, was a moderate favorite in that bout. Ends up getting sent to Valhalla. I signaled fight to end in a knockout in that bout, so we cashed there. But it's a situation similar again. He's minus 200 off of previous hype before. He did obviously have the grappling advantage here, and he has a win over a common opponent that Bogdan Grad lost to in Volkan Ozdemir. Bogdan Grad got subbed by Volkan Ozdemir in their bout. He was getting picked apart a little bit on the feet. Obviously, he has the power, but he leaves his hands low, and he's not as technically sound as I'd want. Nikita Krylov, though, when I'm watching his film, like, he's so slow, like sluggish. His striking is pretty bad. Like, I don't really like, the only thing that's really there is like, he's if you're in his grasp, then yeah, he's gonna probably sub you. But I don't really see him as a threat on the feet in this one. When I was first looking at it, it's like I don't like either of these fighters. They're both guys I think that are possibly overrated and frauds. I think Bogdan possibly fraudulent, and him getting taken down by Billy Elekana off the couch and then fighting Nikita Krylov here just scares me. But I don't think Krylov's going to be able to repeatedly take him down. I think if he gets him down, he might be able to sub him. So when taking a look here, let's see what we like with the takedown props. I like Nikita Krylov under 2.5 takedowns at minus 125. I think that's decently high. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep getting Bogdangrad down. Even against Ozdemir, he kind of just pulls him into his grasp when he has his back. Like, he's not, like, shooting double legs and getting in. Bogdangrad obviously has that puncher's chance to knock him out. I don't really know how I'm leaning here. Because I think that Grod's not defensively sound in the grappling. That if it hits the mat, Nikita Krylov is live for a sub. But at the same time, Nikita Krylov just got his chin incinerated, like 4 months ago, and is back, and nothing's shown me that he's not gonna get chinned again. So, I think that the finish here is live. I'm looking at the under here. Oh wow! Just as I'm looking, we gotta look at these takedown props fast because Krylov just dropped from minus 120 to minus 135 on that underline. But I'm looking at the under on rounds now. Uh, Under 2.5. Jesus Christ. You might as better off taking under 1.5 at minus 145. Because under 2.5 is minus 475. And I think if someone's getting finished, I think it's getting finished either first round or early round 2. Probably play around minutes on like ESPN or something where you can take it straight, but I'd rather take it under. I don't know who to side in this one, so I'm not gonna pick one. I'm just gonna give those picks. Start us off.
Made some dinner. Sorry. Come on. So, Krylov just got bopped like 4 months ago or something. Right? What was that, April? So he got bopped in April. I did tape study on this cat. He's so like stiff and stands straight up, and he, like you were saying, he's labored and heavy, and it just doesn't look good. I think Guskov wins by sub, or the fraud check comes in for the or Guskov. I'm sorry, Guskov wins by KO because I think that he can close the pocket. He has crazy KO power. Like, I mean, that's the guy that I said he's probably out in the woods in Russia, punching bears, sparring bears. Like, but yeah, Krylov, his striking is like it's not good. So if Guskov did any type of study on this, he should be able to smoke Krylov in the striking. But like you said, I didn't like watching Guskov on the mat at all. So Krylov by sub or Guskov by KO is minus 175, and like I'll parlay that with something else probably to bring it down. But I definitely can see Guskov getting a KO in this. Like, it's just history tells you, like, people that have been knocked out and then take like short notice within like 3 to 4 month span fights, it never goes well, man. Like, you want to get back in there so bad, but there's so much like stuff in your body that's still like trying to catch up. And I think Krylov is rushing it, and Guskov is gonna KO him. That's my personal lean. But yeah, the bet Krylov by sub, Guskov by KO minus 175.
HotHand, how do you feel? I know you're a decent Bogdan Grad fan. Oh, I actually messed up the graphic. I just realized that I put Bogdan Grad instead of Bogdan Guskov. That's my first error on the graphic, so I got I got to give 10 graph shows for that one. But take over, HotHand.
Yeah, I've been riding on Guskov for a little while. I paid notice to him when he finished Span in round 2, but I do I'm going against my man here. I like Krylov, I'm not going to lie. Even though he's coming off that KO loss to Reyes, I think Reyes is still very, very good. I mean, he did beat John Jones after all, but get robbed. But I think Krylov, his last fight, Krylov explodes. Like he'll you're sitting there kickboxing range, and then bam, he's in your face and he lands 1-3 down, and then you're out. So I don't think Guskov is going to be fast enough to counter strike Krylov's blitzes, and I do think Krylov, if he does want to take it to the ground, he's also going to have the advantage there. Now, I do think an under is very smart because I do think that someone's getting slept. It's either Krylov as he's going to try and blitz, or it's going to be Guskov getting cracked as Krylov does run into the pocket and throw those wild exchanges. But I do think Krylov catches him before Guskov does counter react and hits him with something as he's entering the pocket. But either way, I do like the fight to end in a knockout. I do like Krylov, and I do like a under. So take what you want from that, but someone's getting slept this fight.
I'm looking at the exact method of victory. By knockout is -120, and I do like that. I do think that has
Yeah,
some
that's
value there.
beautiful. That's beautiful. We're not going to see two strikers go out there and start grappling. I highly doubt it. Definitely not at the light heavyweight division that we're going to see him grapple. If it was 125 or 135, possibly. But I do think these big boys are going to go out there and start fucking tagging each other up.
So we'll take a move on from there because I'm assuming Mo's still gone. But we got Asu Almabayev taking on Jose Ochoa. Ochoa on short notice. Not too long ago, we covered his fight with Cody Durden. Oh wow! I just got a notice. That's why I paused earlier. I signaled to a couple people. Marc Andre Barriault takedown plus 500. It's now -175. So anyway, get back on this. Asu Almabayev coming off that loss to Manuel Kopp. He was losing the fight, but those eye pokes definitely had a factor in it. I will say that he looked a little helpless in when he's like in boxing range. He kind of drops his hands and he absorbs a couple strikes. That scares me against someone like Ochoa, who's a sniper out of shootbox Diego Lima. Um, Nurmagomedov obviously has the grappling advantage. On his side. What scares me for Jose Ochoa is Jose Ochoa did not look good in his takedown defenses against Cody Durden. Uh, he looked gassed a little bit, and Durden's 80 years old and didn't age well, and I don't think he's as good as Asu Almabayev when it comes to grappling, at least with the takedown department. Asu's shots, if you watch the Manuel Kopp fight, Manuel Kopp has some really good takedown defense, but Asu Almabayev's shots are so well timed and like so low that I think he's going to be able to get Ochoa down multiple times unless a random knee or something catches him. I think he's going to be able to get Ochoa to the ground. I'm taking a look at the takedown props to see if they're cooked now. Uh, if you're looking at Jose Ochoa or Asu Almabayev, takedown line is 3.5. All right, I don't know if I want to play around with that, but that gives you an idea of what the books are thinking when it comes to the game plan. I think also Ochoa has the advantage on the feet here, and it can tag him up. But I don't know if Almabayev's gonna get pulled clean out. His two losses by finish in his last one, and he was running away. He wasn't even out cold. He was actually shooting on a single leg right after when he was trying to stop the fight. Got eye poked really bad, like a corneal abrasion or something. And then his other loss was a long time ago, and it was against Tigir Ulanbekov, who two of us in here are pretty big on. So and it has a grappling nullification, so they have to stand on the feet, and Tigir is huge. So I don't know if Ochoa's going to be able to negate the grappling enough to even get a suit off of him. Like I don't know if he's going to be able to keep stuffing. I think a suit's going to be if he gets him down, I think he's going to be able to lay on him. So I'm going to have to side with the suit at pick 'em odds here. I saw something. I was on FightOdds.io that a suit opened up at like -400 on one book, And then now is pick 'em odds. I don't know how realistic it is, but they're usually pretty reliable for their odds. But I gotta ride with the Sue here on out of pick 'em. I don't think Ochoa's gonna be able to stop the grappling. If he is, then it's Ochoa all day. If you see a couple takedown stuffs, um, might be able to get a nice live bet on Ochoa. But at this close of odds, I think it's a little too close. I think that Sue Almabayev should be at least like a minus 175 favorite on this one. Uh, but that's why I'll leave it off. How do you feel about this one?
Oh, give me a minute. My German Shepherd is trying to eat me.
Hot
All
hand,
right.
never mind, you're good.
Yeah, get hot hand.
Hot hand, take it over.
Yeah, Unk's having some technical difficulties, but you have Ochoa. He lost to Loner Kavanaugh, who Loner is definitely coming up. I think he's going to be a very good prospect soon. And I do think Ochoa does have the skills to be very good. Definitely on the feet, but I do think his grappling is going to need work at this level. I mean, Ochoa is very, very explosive and has that power, but Sue's wrestling, like as a wrestler myself, and I love watching him fight. He has beautiful wrestling. He has beautiful technique. Like everything he does in the grappling realm is to sound. Like I think Asu is going to work to takedowns. They're about the same height. And usually, when you have a grappler fighting someone that isn't very like much taller or have a crazy reach or isn't very solidified in the UFC, that the grappler is going to win. I think that he's going to take him down relentlessly. I think he's going to hold him down. I don't think Ochoa has the BJJ threat to force scrambles out of Asu. I think Asu is going to literally walk through him and, if not sub him, rack up at least 9, 8 minutes of control time against Ochoa. I think Asu is very, very good, and I think he's definitely on the rise as well. So I almost pick 'em odds. I'm hammering Asu. I think Asu is definitely going to crack this dude. And if the odds are a pick 'em, why would the books make it -3 or +3.5 takedowns as the line if they don't expect him to land these takedowns? So I think Asu is definitely going to win this fight. I'm personally more than likely, if he's looking good on the scales, going to hammer him. So give me Asu money line.
I just took a look, and I also like before Uncos. Uh, Jose Ochoa under 41.5 significant strikes. I think that's a little much for a 3 rounder if Asu's going to be able to get top control and lay on him. I don't know if he's going to be able to unload on him. Uh, 41.5 is a decently high mark. And if Asu gets him down and gets, like Hot Hand said, 7, 8 minutes of control time, where's the room for these 40 significant strikes? Because I think even if Asu Amabayev's getting hit, which it's likely it's not out of the realm that he's getting tagged up pretty bad on the feet at some point. I think even his panic shots are going to be good enough to get down Jose Ochoa. Because Cody Durden took a panic shot and took down Jose. So I don't know. I think that
Ochoa also isn't high volume. He doesn't throw much, but when he throws, it has that pop and the power behind it. So I definitely like that play a lot. Because with him not throwing much volume and Asu's wrestling and his ground control time, I definitely think that shit hits.
Unc, are you done getting eaten? Are you are you done with your dog and the
I got
the
a
peanut
hundred.
butter?
Listen, I got 100-pound German Shepherd. Yeah, she's under control. All right. So here's the problem. Jose Ochoa is a shooto box guy. You can't ever bet against the shooto box guys on the ground. But Asu's wrestling is so good. I mean, it's real good. Like when he got knocked out by Manel Cape, but like everything else, man, has been it's decisions, but it's so clean. Like or a sub here or there. But this guy, he reminds me of like Asu reminds me of like the old see wrestlers like that type of style that they had, and people don't really do it anymore. But then he encompasses the jiu-jitsu along with it. So he is a threat on the ground. Now, like I said, Ochoa is shoot box guy, and like HotHand was saying, he's got the good kinetic energy when he lands at the end of his punches. He knows how to. I talk about this because the way your body frame is depends on how you want to throw your punches. Ochoa is taller for the flyweight division. Like he's 5'7", Sue's 5'4", and if you're a little bit taller than your opponent and you can use that good pop, that's solid. But like Mike said, Cody Durden's like 40 years old. Like, so I'm just so contested on like what is gonna happen. I really don't know. I think a Sue could even get the sub or is gonna get the decision, but then like what is the other thing? The only other thing that could happen is Ochoa gets the knockout. So I'm not really sure what I'm playing here. What did you guys say was the pick
Um,
before?
uh, he liked the Sue money line. I kind of like the Sue money line. And Jose Ochoa under 41.5 significant strikes. Because,
So you got
yeah, his under significant strikes we're looking at because game plan wise, if a Sue, because the takedown prop, a Sue is like over 3.5 is his line. So you think that he's going to get some takedowns. He gets some top control. There's not really room for Jose Ochoa in a 3-rounder to be throwing that much volume. From the jump, yeah, he gets a lot of strikes, but he's not out here throwing 10-piece combinations. And if people think he's going to get the knockout and connect on the end of his punch, that also would benefit because it would be earlier, most likely, than 41.5. I kind of like that line as much as a Sue money line. I think a Sue's going to be able to grapple, though, and I'm not touching 3.5 takedowns in a 3-round fight, even because I think that a Sue's top pressure might be too strong for Jose Ochoa to get up for him to consistently be able to take him down. I don't know.
I
Uh,
all right. So I think my bet. I think I'm going to take a Sue by sub or decision minus 105. I think that's what
Might as
I'm.
well just take his money line. Yeah, like you know what I mean, slightly.
I mean his money line's minus 122. That's not a big. You're right. We could do that, but yeah, I don't. It's just the grappling is so it's it's so clean, dude. I don't. I can't think of like it's like a younger Colby Covington ish style, but he just has transitions in jujitsu, and so I think Asu get the sub or a decision, but I guess I'm gonna play his money line because yeah, it's not you're not really paying too much more, and we we take minus 120s all day at Fate Factory. So
For sure. But we'll keep it moving. And we got Bullet Sharon Magomedov, the Pirate, against Marc Andre Barriault. Um, I was
yo,
talking about it earlier.
before you even start, I'm abstained, bro. I got
You're abstaining.
I'm abstained. The Shark can only fight in out there because he can't get cleared in the U.S. because of his eye. Like I don't want no parts of this. Like I can see Mark Ballia literally killing him and grinding him on the ground to death, and I can see Shara throwing something that looked like out of the Matrix and spin and kick Mark Andre's head up. So I want no parts of this. So go ahead, continue.
Um, so we have Shara coming off the loss to MVP. I know a couple of us called that. No, I wasn't on him, but I know that Hot Hand sniped MVP is pretty heavy on him from when that fight was announced. But yeah, Barriault coming off the murder of what was that? What's his name? Bruno Silva. Yeah, put him in on a stretcher literally in Canada. Now we're over here in the UAE. Bullets at like minus 700 range, minus 600, depends what book. These odds are via Bet365, so they might be on the juiced in on some of them. But it all depends on if Andre Barriault's going to try to get this to the ground, and I think that's his only way of getting this fight out of here. Yeah, he has power. HotHand's probably going to touch on it later. On his power as one of his points, but I just think that he's going to have to close the distance and not allow Bullet to throw shit out the matrix like Unc was saying. I was gonna suggest earlier. I had a screenshot at like 4:30 p.m. signaled it to some people in a group as a possible play. Marc-Andre Barriault 1+ takedown was plus 500 when I opened. It's now minus 175. So like now it's not playable. So that kind of takes that out of there. I hope it doesn't hit now. Even though I have a sprinkle at plus 500, I hope it doesn't hit because it got juiced to shreds and no one else could take it with me. But Marc-Andre Barriault here, I don't know. I was just saying in his last bout, we had him at like minus 140 against Bruno Silva, who I thought was one of the worst people in the UFC. I think Bull gets the win here. It's just gonna be sketchy. I don't think he's covering minus 700 line. I just don't think Marc-Andre Barriault is too good. I don't think Bullet's too good when it comes to the grappling either. So I'm looking right now at their takedown. I'm looking Marc-Andre Barriault takedown is minus 105 now, so it's getting some pushback. But it was plus 500 when I got it, so you can't even really fuck around with that now. I'm just looking an under even on that one because the value moved up. But I think he gets I think he gets the takedown. I just don't know what he does with it. I think maybe an over, a sneaky over in this fight could be a play. Over 1.5 is a bit juiced at minus 188. I'm looking at maybe a parlay piece. Round 2 to start. Minus 320 is getting a little steep, but I think Bullet gets the W here with his striking. I think he's been able to use that knee shield that he uses to get off the cage for a little bit. Um, I'm taking a look right now at some of the odds props. If you get Bullet with over, I'm trying to make it realistic. If you get him with over, like round 2 to start, Bullet and round 2 to start, would be minus 160. I don't know. I don't know how steep I want to pay for Bullet. Minus 160 doesn't seem like that bad of a play though, as a sprinkle. But like Unc said, this is all over the place because two unreliable fighters again. You got Bullet. Well, yeah, he's an insanely creative striker, but his grappling leaves a lot to be desired. And then you have Marc-Andre Barriault has power, but I don't know. I think he's really bad. I don't. I'll push it over right now to HotHand to close it out because I know Unc doesn't want to touch on it. So
Yeah, personally, I think Shara is not that good. Personally, I think he has very good striking, but this isn't kickboxing. I think his grappling is pathetic. He has pretty shit grappling, and I think his one eye is well, I mean, everyone knows it's a huge disadvantage, but if you throw those wide hooks or wide kicks and you distract the other eye with something on the other side, I don't really think he's going to process it. And with Marc-Andre Barriault's power, I don't like it, and I'm definitely not paying the odds that they have on Shara Bullet. Even since when Shara made his debut against Bruno Silva and Anthony Trocchi and Michael Zaitchuk, uh, there's always been he either gets rocked very early or he gets taken down and then progressively starts getting back into the fight. And with Marc-Andre's power, I really am not going to pay that sort of price on Shara. Now the fight is in the UAE, so if there's a gun to my head or I'm putting money on, if it's odds like even odds, I'm betting Shara. But with the odd or how steep the odds are. I am not paying that for Shara against Marc-Andre's power. We just seen him put Bruno Silva on a fucking stretcher, and Marc-Andre's gonna have way better grappling than Shara. So take me out of this fight. I'm not touching it. I'll enjoy watching it because I do think Shara has crafty kickboxing, but I'm not betting on a one-eyed Russian that gets rocked very commonly and has very shitty grappling defense against someone that just puts someone on a stretcher. So,
Yeah, so
don't take me on this fight.
let's make a statement because this is like one of those fights where people got confused. We are siding with Shara, right? Are we betting him on the money line minus 700? You would have to mug me and forcefully make me put the bet in to ever put that much on. Like I don't pay chalk like that, and you guys have to realize that if you're watching this. This podcast is for insight and to give you guys shit to um to match with your reads, to see what you guys like as well, and to see um what kind of picks you agree with and what you didn't know before you watched the video that you now know to help you make your overall read. If you want our pick to pick like tail, like take this right now, take this. That's what Gems is for. That's what our premium section's for. Only $10 a month. Not trying to be that guy to be like, yo, buy this, but you guys want our every single last word and our every single pick and see where the money's going on. That's where it's at. But we'll move on from this trap of a fight, and we'll take Piotr Yan taking on Marcus McGhee. McGhee 10-1 got the fast track here, kicking on Piotr Yan. I don't know what the scheduling. I don't know why this came up. I don't know who made this fight, but it could be exciting. McGhee has some real power. I don't. He hasn't fought some really great competition, so I don't really know what's the hype of around here. I think Piotr Yan. The thing that hurts him here is that the 3-rounder, and Marcus McGhee lands bigger shots, so he might have more of the ooh-ah moments when it comes to the crowd. But I think that Jan's going to be, in the exchanges, have way more technicality and might even mix in the grappling somewhat. So I think he's going to be able to get this one done on points. Jan by points is like a religious play for me. It usually comes through unless he gets robbed. But something makes me feel like weirdly, I don't know what it is, that this is like another Piotr Yan gets robbed so they can push some new guy because Piotr Yan will always be around type of fight how they done before. Like Sean O'Malley, I'll stand on 10 toes again until he beat Sean O'Malley. And he got pushed up. He got the DQ and then got beat by Sterling, but I'm just looking right now. I think he gets it done on the cards. The over 2.5 minus 330 is kind of juiced, but I think that's a live play as a parlay piece. Um, Piotr Yan by decision minus 160 on bet 365. It's going to be around that range, minus 150. I definitely would rather take it on the money line. I don't think he knocks out Marcus McGhee, but I think he's going to show some levels and technicality difference in this one. So I'm going to lean Piotr Yan. I'm going to actually take a look real quick on his takedowns and significant strikes. Taking a look at Jan's 77.5 for Piotr Yan. That's pretty high. I don't know if I want to mess around with that. Piotr Yan over 1.5 takedowns at minus 135. I don't know if he's gonna be going for takedowns as much in this one. Under 1.5 at plus 100 might be a look. I don't know if I'm hammering that yet. I want to look at a little bit more maybe of McGee's takedown defense if there is any tape on that. But I have Piotr Yan here. How do you feel about this one, Unc?
So I'm gonna do like a low unit, high unit. Peter Yan to win by decision is minus 185 on DraftKings. I'm gonna look at other books too. Him to win by Peter Yan to win by KO is plus 450. So I'm probably gonna leverage lower unit on that and higher unit on decision. Or try to get a same game parlay that's something playable, but I don't know. I tried a couple rounds or a couple minutes and it's not coming out too well because this Marcus McGhee guy, when I Googled him, I got like one clip. Like I couldn't really get much, but like I like I I never even heard of this cat before, and he's fighting. People forget like Peter Yan is like Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat, but Tiger Muay Thai. Like Peter Yan was Tiger Muay Thai's child. Like he's the carrier of Tiger Muay Thai. Like he's the student, the subject. Like that's where he came from. I have no idea who the hell Marcus McGhee is, how this even came together. I mean, Peter Yan should literally chop this guy's legs off and then put him out with some combo. But he, in 3-round fights, does have a tendency to like start later. So that's the only thing that I'm worried about. But at the same time, like I've watched Peter Yan for years. Like, and like I said, he is the golden child of Tiger Muay Thai. Like, who the is Marcus McGhee, dude? Like, so I just I tried googling this cat, like nothing really even came up, and I mean they talk about levels in MMA. I think you're gonna see some levels, and now Marcus McGhee does have like UFC fights, and they're wins, they're like KOs and subs and stuff, but like I just went and looked at the opponents. I watched this sport for 30 years, 20 years, 25 years. I know one guy on this list. Like, Marcus McGee's 35. Like, I just, I think that Peter Yan shows why there's levels to the game in this fight, and a sub is, or a KO is very possible. I mean, like I said, I could see Peter Yan kicking this guy's legs out and then hitting him with a counter combo. But the only thing that scares me is he does take longer to start in 3-round fights. But like I said, the pick is the unit equivalents. So lower units on Peter Yan for the KO at plus 450, a little bit higher units for him by decision minus 185, or play around with a parlay and try to get it down to something bettable. But I think a KO can happen. Marcus, now that I like look up like his like ESPN thing, he loves to strike and he loves finishes, and you can't pressure a guy like Peter Yan like that because he has precision counters. So that's my pick.
HotHand, how'd you feel?
Yeah, I think Peter Yan easily has the deepest bag in the UFC. I think he's so well rounded. I think he is very legit. And before I seen this fight, I thought, okay, this could be very easily a McGhee decision based off of the McGhee or the UFC wanting to promote a new fighter. But then I had looked and I seen McGhee was fucking older than Peter Yan. So once I seen that, I was like, okay, I'm all in on Yan. Yan was literally just taking down Figgy, Davison Figueiredo, who anyone who doesn't know his nickname, with ease. And you're telling me Marcus McGhee, who was just getting fucked up and his legs chewed apart by Jonathan Martinez, is going to go out there and beat one of the best 135-pounders? Absolutely not. Peter Yan is easily the second best in the division, right behind Merab. Like, McGhee is not at this caliber. Even though he's older than Peter Yan, he has never fought anyone remotely close to Peter Yan's style. He's going to put it on him on the feet and then beat the shit out of him on the ground. I think he's going to get effortlessly takedowns. I personally, all around, I think Yan's going to beat the fuck out of him. So I'm definitely putting Yan in a parlay of some sort. More than likely, I'll take the double chance KO/decision to try and juice the odds up, because Yan doesn't actively search for subs. He kind of likes position and ground and pound over risking the position to look for a sub. So I'm going to take the KO/decision, and then by all chances, because McGhee does train with O'Malley if they are trying to push him in the UFC and give him some sort of robbery, I will take McGhee by decision. But I do think Yan is very, very live in this fight, especially with it being in the UAE, and I'm definitely hammering Yan. Now, also, just because someone said in the cord we got that because I'm saying I'm picking him now. Now, if Yan comes out falling over, sunken in at weigh-ins, I am not betting him. But if he looks good at weigh-ins, I am betting Yan.
Yeah. Jan's the play here, in my opinion. I just think that besides the power, if he starts off slow, then yeah, he might end up losing by 1 point somehow. I don't know. I feel like Jan has to prove a statement here. Like, why are you guys even giving him this fight? Like, there should be a disrespect for Pierre Jan, in my opinion. But we'll keep it moving. To the main event, Reiner de Ritter RDR versus Bobby Knuckles Robert Whittaker. Odds are getting a little closer. It's just this one's split for me to start, so I'm gonna let Unk start it off while I gather my thoughts.
Oh, de Ritter, who we have taped extensively since his first in the UFC scene, is next level grappling. I've seen Robert Whittaker in the gi before. He's a brown. He may be a black belt now, but he's been a brown belt for years. And Ritter is huge for 185. His body frame is really big. I think that Bobby Knuckles' path to victory here is trying to do that karate point striking for as long as he can. Hopefully, win some rounds. Maybe uh, maybe wobble de Ritter. But overall, man, I think de Ritter is going to win the fight because in the clinch, being that big and knowing jujitsu like that, and if Whitaker's got to carry that top pressure and defend against all them submissions, like, yeah, that Hamzat was 1 in a million, but like he still did get finished by a neck crank. Like Ritter's like 2 times the size of Hamzat, so I think that de Ritter could definitely win this fight. My pick though is de Ritter plus 5.5, so his spread at minus 145. And I'm probably just gonna play that straight. I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. I'm not gonna really get into the props too much. It would be Whittaker KO or decision, or de Ritter sub or decision. Because even if Whittaker does somehow defend the backpack for a round or two, de Ritter's gonna score all that time. And he's live for a sub at any point of this fight, man. So I'm in on de Ritter though. Like he's so big. I underrated him before. The jiu-jitsu, like I think he really settled in to the UFC quick and was not intimidated, and he's not intimidated in this. And I don't think that Robert Whittaker is going to be able to do that karate, blitz in, blitz out, the bounce, stay on the bike, stay on the circle. That's hard to do for 5 rounds. And you got a guy that's that big. He wants to strike. He wants to clinch. He wants to get in on the pressure. Like, I think Robert Whittaker has more of a task to win the fight than de Ritter does. So I'm taking the spread for de Ritter, but also may sprinkle de Ritter by sub, which is plus 300. So that's what I'm riding with. But underestimated de Ritter before, and very extensive background knowing Robert Whittaker's fighting style and previous opponents. I think that de Ritter has come into his own and has the confidence and the abilities and the physical attributes to win the fight.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything Unk said there. The size difference, the reach difference, and when I'm over here thinking right now, getting my thoughts together, I just think it's a 5 rounder. And even if Robert Whittaker is able to defend a couple, I know he's won 5 rounds before. De Ritter has fought at heavyweight, well, light heavyweight, but 225 and stuff like that. He fought against Anatoly Malikin is the guy who I was talking about earlier, who in the first fight, one of the opponents, but yeah, he fought against he's the only two losses for the Ritter. The Ritter's undefeated at this weight class. I know he's mostly at one, but he dismantled Kevin Holland with zero effort. Uh, he did have some trouble and looked sluggish in the Gerald Mearshart fight, but I think he's progressed so much in the striking round. When you watch the Bo Nickel fight, it wasn't even just that Bo Nickel was a bad striker; it was the speed of Nickel's striking, or of the speed of RDR striking that surprised me, and the technicality with the knees up the middle and the clinch work. I just don't think I don't think Robert Whittaker has the power to knock out Reiner de Ritter that like an Anatoly does. At a heavier weight class, Robert Whittaker obviously has some really good striking, and RDR striking is kind of shit. But I think that he's just gonna use his size against him. If you're looking at a comparison of the height between each other, 6'4" versus 6'0" or 6 foot, that's 4 inch height difference. And then he also has the 78 inch reach compared to the 73 inch reach. I don't really see how Robert Whittaker's gonna be able to win this in a 5 rounder unless he finds a chin. And I don't know if Robert Whittaker still has that knockout power. They're around the same age, so you can't really call either of them old, but I think Reiner de Ritter, this is a good matchup for him on the ground. And although he's not a really good takedown threat, I think he's going to be able to either get it there by getting dropped or getting there by the clinch work. I don't know. It's a close fight for me in my head, but over course of 5 rounds, I don't know if Bobby Knuckles is going to be able to stop the clinches and the grappling enough to knock. I think Reiner de Ritter's live for a sub finish. Over the course of 25 minutes, I think he can get it. I'm looking at an under prop because if either of them can get finished, under 3.5 rounds, you're getting at minus 170. Under 2.5 is at pick'em. Probably rather the under 3.5 or maybe a round 5 not to start. I can see where that is right now. Uh, round 5 not to start minus 210. Round 4 not to start minus 140. Look at that, but I think it'll be under 5 rounds in my opinion. HotHand close us out for the main card, and we'll get to some parlays.
Yeah, you have Whittaker, UFC veteran Ritter. He's newer to the UFC, but he's definitely had his fair share of fights revolving MMA. Now, one thing I like about Whittaker, he's going to have a clear striking advantage and a cardio advantage. If you rewatch RDR against GM3, RDR looks sluggish. I looked like I was watching an elementary wrestling match. Like, he looked dead. Whittaker, also, one thing I like for Whittaker is that when he strikes, he throws more straight shots. He doesn't really throw looping shots, which RDR struggles to block. That's why I think RDR looks so good in that Bo Nickel fight, because Bo Nickel isn't a polished striker, and he tends to really lean on that overhand, those overhand strikes in his striking. So I think that's why RDR looked way better than Bo Nickel did on the striking. Now, the only thing that scares me for Whittaker is that when he does get taken down, he gives up his back very easily just to get up. And with RDR's size, I could see this fight going to the ground. And if he gives up his back, RDR is jumping that shit 100%. His weight, then he's carrying his weight if he takes the back. So I'm having a lot of mixed emotions because I do think Whittaker could crack him with a 1-2 down the middle and catch RDR. I do think that if the fight plays out and RDR lands a takedown, that he could easily sub him. Would be good for a method of victory live bet. I do think if the fight hits the later rounds, round 3, round 4-ish, we're going to see Whittaker knock him out due to exhaustion. But one thing I do think is going to hit, I'd say probably 95% is the under or round 5 not to start. I did like that play that Moneyline Mike called out just before, because I feel that Whittaker is either going to catch him with a 1-2, Ritter's going to sub him, or Whittaker's going to knock him out from volume strikes after Ritter gasses. So I do like the under or the round 5 not to start at minus 200. That's definitely worth a parlay piece for me. But if I had to pick one, I do think Whittaker's going to win. I think he's going to be more crafty. I think he's going to keep the distance, and I do think those straight shots down the pipe are going to find home on Ritter and eventually KO him.
Yeah, I can agree. So, well, you're on Whittaker, right? So you're hot hands on Whittaker for this bout. I'm split, but I'm a lean RDR on it. Unks on RDR pretty heavily, and uh that's how we view this main card. And this is the best time of the night. We'll go over to Parlay Time. It's Parlay Time, boys. Don't know where the parlay that I made went because it was right here, but it's Parlay Time, and we're gonna put our top picks out there. Um, see what our locks of the nights are, and try to build a nice parlay for you guys. I remember Hot Hand. I know you said something about really liking a Sue. Um, they actually, it's weird. Asu's the favorite -122, but on the point spread, not even the alt, the regular point spread, he's he's the plus money one, or not plus money, but plus 3.5 one. His plus 3.5 spreads -195.
Yeah, how does that make any sense? I think that's like a error, like how last card we got Dan Ige at plus 170, and then literally a minute later he was back to minus 170.
Yeah. Uh, you like that though?
I mean, I think if Ochoa wins, it's gonna be by finish. I don't see Ochoa winning a decision.
Yeah.
So personally, I would rather the better value and take his money line.
Hmm? Is that your lock for the parlay, or you got
Ooh,
something else?
uh,
I'm gonna
what's
go with.
what's
I'm
odds?
gonna.
What's odds? Like,
We'll just go like max -300. I'm gonna go with
uh,
Piotr Jan and round two to start, or over 299.5 seconds if you're on DraftKings, -250.
well, let me look. Let me see what I could do
All
with
right.
Leal. 'Cause he's
Yeah,
a
there's no.
guaranteed lock.
Leal doesn't have any props yet on his double chance. We could probably play around. It's juiced on here on FanDuel.
Yeah.
On
I just
FanDuel,
spent
it's
I just spent 5 minutes looking at Leal, and I'm gonna look at a different fighter. But what do you have, Mike?
I took the Piotr Jan and over round two to start, but
No, what do you see on FanDuel?
FanDuel, I'm looking at something for. I was gonna look at Leal. Well, I know you can run the same thing that I just said on FanDuel as well. So like, I know that Leal's double chance on there. Let me see when we pull it up right now. It's -450 on DraftKings, but on here it's -350. So like, makes it a little. It makes it somewhat better, I guess. -350. That I don't know. It's up to you. Or what do you have, Unk?
I got uh Ebal Aslan KO or decision -250. Yeah, it's high, but like that's what I think it is. Like I don't think Billy Alcana is that great of a mixed martial artist, and uh,
Said
Ebal,
no, said knockout or
I don't,
points.
yeah, knockout or points. It's -250.
Okay, and then
Um,
just on you then,
yeah,
hot hand.
Oh fuck! I'm looking. I can't find anything to make Liao playable, but he's my absolute lock. I
Well, you
do
like
like
his.
Krylov.
Well, you think he can
What's
win
up?
by decision? You think he can win by decision or a knockout?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more favoring the knockout, but I could see Liao playing it more slow and not really rushing into things because Muslim is a veteran in the kickboxing department. But I do think Liao sleeps the fuck out of him. But then I like Krylov and Guskov fight to end by KO. But honestly, give me Asu -122.
Okay,
That's yeah, that's my pick.
all right. So we're at with that. We're at plus 256 on DraftKings, and that is Petr Yan and round 2 to start, or if you're on DraftKings, over 299.5 seconds. Then you got Ibo Aslan, knockout or decision double chance, and then Asu Almabayev on the money line. We get plus 250 there for our parlay. We're at about an hour 45, so we'll call it here. Per usual, thank you for joining. Shout out all that's in the live stream right now. Shout out Max. Shout out C-Stan as usual. And we're going to catch you guys at the cash counter per usual. Hop in Gems or hop in the Fade Factory court even and bounce around some free plays. And thanks for joining.